current update on the life in Israel in times of war. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've been posting here. Things have moved and changed, and of course, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening. The year 2024 in the Middle East, in Israel, sparked some kind of happenings and movement that are engulfing and encapsulating the entire earth, which is actually a blessing I would like to speak about this today. And I'll start with just saying hi, and it's been a while since I've been here. As much as I create my own life and my own reality, and I will also speak about this today, when we are in a surroundings and in an environment, it affects us. You know, the symbol of Buddhism and of Buddha is the lotus flower, right? This beautiful thing coming up from the swamp, which is a reminder and a symbol of beauty and stability that comes from the depths of darkness and of mud and of, you know, like all the negative stuff, right? And the Buddha sits on top of that flower in meditation. And I've had the chance to experience this year in Israel, with all of what is happening around me, still finding my own center, still reaching into my own depths and connecting with that part of me which is divine, which is beyond, and staying grounded in this turmoil all around me. It has been uplifting and grounding at the same time, and mostly it has been showing me that, you know, in the spiritual realms and the spiritual world and people waking up, it has been a tendency to observe the reality and the world behind a short wall. Well, this hasn't been the case. Living in Israel, mastering all of the knowledge and my own energy, which makes it my own personality and my own divinity, mastering it and grounding it here in times of turmoil, in times of war, in times where it seems that the entire humanity is boiling up. That has been something that has been showing me what it really means to stay anchored and to stick to belief system that I created or you know, like summoned up and made it my own. It's easy to sit on top of a mountain and look at humanity and criticize it or judge it or say I'm beyond or above. It's quite something different to be and to walk amongst turmoil and chaos and still keep that type of awareness and consciousness and not fall into craziness, madness, separation, anger, frustration, war. Yeah, that this year have showed a lot and taught a lot, all of us. So I want to speak about what does it mean to live in times of war. I grew up as an Israeli, as a Jew in Israeli, and I realized that all of this were stories, right? The stories that are being handed to us when we are born. Who we are, where we come from, what our people is like, what our family is like. Everybody has his own story. Growing up in Israel as a Jew, there's a very typical story that all of us receive. The story of the people of Israel, starting back to Abraham and all the story that, well, from the Dilute through Noah and then Abraham and then Moses and so on and so on. There's a story that is being told to us repeatedly by our parents, by our surroundings, by the culture, by religion. And religion has infiltrated into tradition, right? And ceremonies, and we celebrate this. And again, they remind us of the story of who we are and where we come from. And then the attached story to it is the dark side of it, right? Like in every story that you know and in every movie that you know, there is the good guy and the bad guy, right? There's the hero and the villain. So you get attached to the story also of the villain. Who is after you? Who is trying to destroy you? Who is trying to kill you? Who is trying to push you out of your country? All of this in a story that has been told 3,000 years. We are receiving this from childbirth, and it's continuously being reminded to us through all possible ways. As I said, family, neighbors, friends, tradition, school, cinema, radio, television, everywhere. Now, since several years ago, probably since Corona times, it started to, be all this fuss around conspiracy. It started before, actually, with conspiracy, but it really kicked off during the Corona. That there's some sort of malignant power that is trying to destroy and control. I'm not saying that it's not true. And maybe I'm saying that it's part of the truth, and maybe we should try to release ourselves even from that story, because even that story is keeping us captivated. That story is actually denouncing us, is actually dispowering us. Because if we believe that there's a group of people or individuals or some sort of power that is running for X amount of years, thousands of years, they say, and is trying to control humanity, that is really disempowering us. It takes the power away from us. It puts us again in a role of Opfer in German, victims. How long are we going to tell this story, right? It is time to pick ourselves up and realize we're not children anymore. When we are children, everything is being given to us. Everything, the good and the bad, what we need and what we don't need, everything to sustain us and to protect us. This is why parents and societies keep on warning people from this and that, protecting us from this and that, and putting us on a certain path, because they want us to survive, they want to take care of us. Then we grow up and we become teenagers, and the teenager hormones are starting to boil up, and the natural instinct of the teenager is to rebel, is to say, wait a second, I don't want to be told, I want to do things on my own, I want to decide. So then we go to the opposite side of that, and we start navigating ourselves in life from a point of no, from a point of negativity, from a point of rebellious, doing the opposite things. But then we fall into a straight line of adulthood, and the adult needs to take care of him and herself, and they need to start providing. And we tend to believe what has been done and told in the generation before us, that there is one way or a certain way to achieve that, and that's hard work, and that's education and all of this. And then we repeat the cycle. We just repeat the cycles of the generations before us. Now, what happens when we repeat the cycles of the generation before us? We create the same things. We create the same atrocities, we create the same wars, we create the same separations, and we do make changes throughout all of this, because we do learn, and we learn mostly through pain, right? Through pain and suffering. But even that is a cycle on itself, learning through pain and suffering. There are different ways. There are ways to navigate our life from a place of joy and happiness. It doesn't mean that life is only going to consist of moments of joy and happiness, much like we have a 24-hour that is consists of dark and light, of day and night. So life is in general. We have to go through phases of darkness. We have to go through phases of pain or of misery. The question is, are we going through that, or are we getting stuck in it? And this is what is happening to many, which is why these times are of awakening, because people are starting to say enough is enough. What I've been told is not the entire truth. Now, what is then the truth? People still looking outside to find out where is their truth, but your truth is only inside of you. Much like your entire experience of reality happens within you and not outside of you, right? Every emotion, every thought, every movement starts from within, felt within, is experienced within. Therefore, what is happening right now is the entire humanity is forced to go back inwards and start looking what is true to me, what is my truth. And naturally, in the beginning of it, we will be lost, right? Because the foundation that we were standing on is being shaken. And here in Israel, this is like, it's happening 10 times fold. There's so many different currents of people and of belief systems and of agendas that nobody understands anymore what is really mine and what is not. What is my truth and what is not. What is the agenda of somebody else and what is mine. And the tendency that we have been used to and educated to is to follow others, is to follow a certain path, a certain line. So therefore, even when we start recognizing that this path is not true to me and is not in my benefit, the natural instinct is to look for another path of somebody else's, right? Actually, this is the reason why you guys are watching me. Because you see a path and you want to follow it. And now I'm here to remind you guys that you need to create your own path. It's okay to look at other people's path, but then take whatever serves you and whatever is true and right to you and put that and make that your own path. It's impossible to follow somebody else's route and somebody else's path. We've been seeing it, right? There has been and there's only going to be one Jesus. There has been and there's only going to be one Moses. There has been and there's only going to be one Muhammad and only one Buddha. You cannot repeat fully the story of somebody else. And why should you even? Why would you want that? You are here because you are a unique individual and your soul is an extension of spirit, of source. And you are your own unique self. You need to find it and refine it. Find it and refine it in your life, which makes it a life, right? Which makes it an adventure. But this is what life is for you, is to find your own path in it. Because you are an extension of source. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it the one, whatever you feel like. However, it's you being an extension of that. Not you being an extension and not you being the same extension of somebody else, but you being a different and a unique extension of the source. You can look at it as, right, the sun with many different rays, photons of light, And each and every one of you is an individual and a photon of light. You can look at it as the ocean with many different waves, and each and every one of you is a wave coming out of that ocean and going back to that ocean. However, we are always connected to the source. A photon of life is only always connected to the sun. It's a ray of light. And life from the depths, an ocean, a wave would be always connected to that too. So your soul is connected to your grand spirit, which is connected to source. And we are here to experience a unique path. So make it a unique path. Find that uniqueness inside of you. This is why the times are here. This is why the turbulent is here. So we start shedding, even if we don't want to. People now start shedding other people's stories that have been told for eons of times. They start shedding them because they find that they are suffocating them, that they are taking more than they are giving. So it is time, after this shedding and this breaking and this destruction, there comes a time of construction, of rebuilding something new. The truth of who you are, the real light that is hidden inside of you, right? And this have been experiencing for some time now. Before the war started, I'm seeing it happening around me. So I'm making all sorts of videos and information, putting it out there to remind people, hey, this is what you're here to do. After the destruction comes construction. Experience the destruction. Understand that it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the identity that you have been conditioned to accept. Again, it's the end of the identity that you have been conditioned to accept and to believe in. That's it. It's all those stories that you have been told. It's all those ceremonies that you have been conditioned to do. It's all of those holidays and whatnot that you have been repeatedly doing. These are breaking. And they are breaking for you to be able to wake up to your true self. Now, it has been marvelous, wonderful, and heartbreaking at the same time, watching it happening right now here in Israel and a bit outside in the world. I'm not that connected, more connected to what's happening here, also not through the news, but mostly through the people themselves. Hearing the stories of the people firsthand instead of hearing it on the news or hearing it from somebody else, right? Hearing a report on something. A report means again, port, right? This is what report means. I go to the source, which means I connect with my own self when I need information. And when I want to know how people are, I talk to the people. I talk to them. And it's been a huge challenge being with and around people lately, because people are torn to their extremities because of the destruction that is happening and the war and the unconditioning and the unschooling. People are being torn to their extremities, to their most beautiful parts and their most ugly parts. And what is happening actually is that there is a broadness that is taking place. There is a wideness. People are widening their truth and who they are. They go to their extremities so they can find again the middle of who they truly are. A rebalance, a balancing, a new balance. And for that to happen, we need to widen up first our horizons so we can find a new truth, a new middle way. And those extreme left and the right, the positive and the negative, the feminine and the masculine, the beauty and the ugliness. Those are just an experience within. Again, like everything else is an experience within. We understand that I have the capacity to destroy and the power to create. This is huge. This is a gift on itself, to realize I have this and that. And what I need to do is harness those tools and bring them under a steady hand, a sharp mind, an open heart, and create the present that I want, so that the future of the next generation, the future of our children, would look more like what we truly want. So this has been, in a nutshell, what I have been experienced lately here in Israel. I'll make sure to post more videos on that. If you guys have any questions for me, do write a comment. And much love to you guys from the land of Israel. With all the separation, Israel-Palestinians, I can talk about it more maybe next time. But again, my word here and the truth that I am delivering is deconditioning, letting go of all of those concepts. Israeli, Palestinian, Jews, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, those are just names. Those are just hollow frames that somebody have put information in it, so you can take it and create a belief system that you follow and die under. It's time to resolve all of this. Let those concepts go and create new ones. Why do we need to hold on to what it means to be Jewish or what it means to be Muslim if this just brings us first apart and then boom, head on against each other? What is it good for then? If we go back to the scriptures and back to the old stories, in the basis of it, we all come from the same source. We are all sons of Adam and Eve. We are all the same. We are made in the likeness of God, of gods, however you want to see it and call it. And it's time to go back to that simplicity and connect back to that truth and that source. Just like when you've been a child, you didn't have much names to things, you didn't have many names to things, you didn't have many concepts that you followed. And when you saw another child on the playground, you didn't ask yourself if he is what type of belief system he has, what type of a religion he has, what kind of family does he come from, what's his skin color like. It didn't matter. What mattered was, does he want to play a game or not? All right? So we took that game to its very extreme, and maybe we can put that aside and now maybe focus a bit more on the Olympics of games, where we bring the best of our best and we can look at humanity and what it has been achieving and celebrate that. Love you, friends. See you soon. Take care.